All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to DC Fine Art. Today, we're going to be working live on the Paletteful Pack final review. So this is the first time that I've done this, going live and actually just working with the product for the first time, and just doing it live. So usually I like to give updates on everything before I actually start my live streams. So as far as Patreons go, I like to give them updates too on what's happening over on Patreon. So I already released a little lesson there that is a mixed media color pencil and or mixed media and what is it? Soft pastel. My mind's gone blank today. Oh, Barbara's here. Hi. Let's see, as long as I can. That's perfectly fine. I'm glad to have you. So you guys got that video on a lesson with the pine tree and the snow in soft pastel and color pencil, and that was actually free to all members. Now the next video that will be released this week, I've already got that one done. I just need to do my voiceover on it and just go over everything with it. And that's going to be the Christmas bulb along with the ribbon. So there's going to be two things. It's actually a longer video. I'm not for sure if I can break that down maybe a little bit more to where it's not as long, but just kind of like where we repeat things over again. I did look into also on Patreons, look into trying to see if I could do like a discount on your guys' things, because I did not get no reference photos for this month. So I looked on there trying to see if they had anything where I can actually do a discount on for you guys. There wasn't an option for doing a percentage off or giving you guys a discount. So the only thing that I can think of for this month would be, and this would be just a nice little gift too, is that whenever you guys get charged on whatever date it is, you guys are going to get charged, I'll just go ahead and refund you this month. So this month will be on me for Christmas, for the holiday. So that will be charged to you guys, but then I'm going to turn around and refund it. So that's the only thing that they had on there as an option was refund. So I was like, well, it would be nice to have like give a percentage off for the holidays or a little discount here and there. Would be super nice for you guys. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. So let's go ahead, turn this around. Oh, and if you guys hear any noises like squeaking, barking, that would be my little puppy. So he's right now in the next room and my son's taking care of him or just watching him, but I do have my door cracked open, so he could come in and out, not for sure. So just in case if you guys hear any kind of weird noises, that's probably what it is. So let me go ahead and turn this around. Let's see here. Okay, and I want to make sure that my microphone is on. So it looks to be on. Last time it got me and I forgot to click that little button to turn on the mic on this little view here. So we had no sound for a little bit. All right. So as you can see, I got a Christmas or a little deer here, and it is actually a reference photo that I found on Pixabay just to find something that maybe gives me inspiration for the holidays. So it's this like golden or bronzed reindeer, and what I was wanting to do is use some of these other things that Paletteful Pack got me to kind of do a really nice background. And in order to do that, I did end up using the colorless masking fluid here by Winsor & Newton, and I did that just so that way I can do a background with the product that they gave me. But that's really the only thing I used, just to kind of cover up that deer. If you have anything else that you'd like to use, like maybe it's some of that Frisket stuff, that works great. I love Frisket, but I am completely out of it, so I need to get me some more. Also, I contacted Paletteful Pack's customer service, and they were super, super nice in sending me some spray. So I did receive that art spray now. So I am super excited. I got a red one here, and I think it's called, let's see here, what color is this? Red orange. So here's a really nice red-orange spray, and it's art spray, mixed media. And so I could use this with the green. So super excited. Like I said, they are really, really fantastic with their customer service. And I even like their little note. Like, they gave me a little Paletteful hack box, and inside, I really like this. Like, you opened it up and they put the product in there, and somebody had wrote from there, it says, oops, sorry, our goof, and a little bitty emoji little face, like, oh my gosh. I thought it was so cute. And so I couldn't be happier with their customer service. My hands are so dry, by the way. So sorry about that. I wash them all the stinking time, and I just don't put any lotion on, and I am about ready to turn into dust. So sorry about my dry hands. But super, super nice customer service. Couldn't be happier with Paletteful packs. So let's go ahead and start this background. I want to take out the paints. I haven't even taken them out yet. So gotta learn how to do this. And these here are the Acrylic Original System 3 paints. I'm gonna just put this down to the side. And my puppy dog is in here chewing on his little bone, so he may get a little loud. I don't know. He's just crunching away. And it looks like I got black. We got a burnt umber. Well, Mars black, burnt umber, yellow ochre. We got green, blue. Let's see, I'm just trying to pick out some colors that I'm going to use for my deer. And now he's gone. So he has left my room. We got crimson, cadmium red. We got cadmium yellow hue. You know, you can even get them out. Okay, so I'm going to use the cadmium yellow. We do have a lemon yellow in here. Not for sure if I'm going to use that, but then we also have titanium white. So like I said, the deer that I'm going to be working on is going to be more of a bronzed or golden deer. So I'm just going to stick with the Mars black, the burnt umber, yellow ochre, cadmium yellow hue, and the titanium white. This one here is really, really bright. I don't think that I will need it. I think it's a little bit too bright. And I mean, you could mix some reds in there, get yourself some darker, or maybe a reddish tone, or even some blues for your brown to make it a little bit darker, but I'm not for sure. We may end up doing that. We may stick a little bit of we can either make it warmer or cooler on tones with the brown. It won't be much of a difference, but might be something. Let's see here. Should we do it crimson red or the blue? We'll just do the red. We'll stick red in there. So there we go. So I'll use those colors. Also, they gave us the System 3 Fluid Acrylics. They gave me the phthalo green and a lemon yellow, along with some of these markers, like these YONO markers and a Posca white marker. So we'll just have to see what happens. We'll be able to throw them in. So the first thing I want to do is take out these brushes and get them wet. Is that actually clean? Where's my other water? Yeah, it looks clean. Can't remember what I used to clean up. Oh, I went to the sink. I didn't even use the water. It's clean. I was like, did I use my masking fluid to clean it off in there? And I don't want to use that. So I'm going to stick with these two brushes. This one here, well, we may use that for a background. Covers a lot of area. But the bristles on these are really, really thick. So, I don't know. I might end up scraping off my poured masking fluid. I'm not for sure. So, let's go ahead and make this background. Oh, I could use my blue. What kind of colors do we want? Oops. I'm dropping everything. Then we get the fluid. I don't think I want a green background. It just doesn't seem too nice. So we'll just go with the blue. Ultramarine blue. We'll do a little bit of it. And quite frankly, I really don't know how it's going to turn out. Whenever I do my artwork or do any of these little quick things. I really don't know. I never know what it's going to turn out. It might turn out great. It might not. You never know. Let's get a little bit of water in this. I'm going to take a little touch of that blue. I'm going to pull it over here. Ooh, that stuff is really, really thin. Let's just mix it all together. That wasn't really that much. Like, I really didn't put a lot on my... That's some really thin paint. Interesting. So, here's my deer. Let's move it over here. Let's move it over a little bit more. Like, oh, we're going, thank you. I hope so. You never know. It may have one of those days. There was a couple of them that I'm like, I questioned myself. Like, what is this? I think it was a little squirrel. I did a little squirrel, and I don't even think, yeah, that was on one of the Paletteful packs. It's like a little squirrel. I didn't really like the squirrel. And then I'm like thinking, you know, other people might like the squirrel, but for some reason I didn't like that squirrel. I don't know, my puppy dog probably would have liked the squirrel. So we're just going to go ahead and just cover this whole canvas up. We may need to give it a nice little spritz of water. That way it flows a little bit more smoother over our canvas here. Oops. Getting it on myself. And I don't really care if there's like a little bit of blotches in there or not. I just don't want to remove any of my, brush shedded. I don't want to remove any of my frisket, so. Oh, Bristle, get off me. That would be the only thing I would worry about, but so far. This is definitely going to be a random. Just doing a nice light blue background. Very light. And by using these paints in comparison to using, like, I like using the Liquitex Basics. This paint here just seems really thin. Like, it seems a little bit thinner and more like a lot more thinner than the Liquitex Basics by the way it feels. Trying to smooth that out with this brush, and this is more of a hard bristle brush. I was like thinking that it might be good for your oil painting, but I mean, it's doing pretty good, except that it is shedding. Now, will this shedding stop once you use the brush enough? I don't know. But it is definitely shedding right now. So. And this here brush is the Simply Simmons. And it is a number 10 long handle filbert. Ooh, got some darker colors in there. Just gotta get this background filled in. There's another one, another bristle. This thing is shedding a lot more than my cheap generic brushes that I usually use. There was one, I don't forget who it was. I used to watch him paint all the time. And I can't remember if it was on YouTube or if it was like an actual like like a painting show, but they used to say, oh, those bristles come off and they get in your painting and it just adds character. It makes it look a lot better with the bristles like here and there in it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, I can't, like, it bothers me knowing that there's a bristle just like right there. And it's, even when it dries, it's like, I just want to pick it off. But at this rate of shedding, it might end up being a bald brush here soon. So, not for sure. Okay, I'm just smoothing it out is all I'm doing. Just kind of taking some of that, the brush strokes out just by very lightly going over it is all I'm doing. Now, I could let this dry and go over it again, but I'm kind of liking that rougher, so, like, it's not really rough, but it's like a softer type look here and there, especially for what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing some splatters, and because we got this art spray, and I definitely want to use the art spray with the masking fluid over your actual like it's over your actual main focal point. So if you're doing like a deer, if you're doing like jingle bells, anything you want, I mean, whatever your main focus is on, I probably wouldn't have a bunch of splatters all over it. Unless that's what you're going for. Come on, brush, clean out. Does hold a lot of water. Okay, I think that's good enough. I probably wouldn't, I don't know. I'd probably like using it for oil painting. So now that that's done, I know we haven't dried this. I want to dry it real quick. So I'm going to use a hair dryer on this for a little quick. That way, kind of speed it up a little bit. Got it tangled up in my airbrush right now. Come on. Is that my puppy? Oh, hi there, Whiskey. What you doing, baby? You're going to get scared of a hair dryer. He's like underneath me. We'll run it light. Just a little bit. Alright, so that is done. Hey, baby. Why don't you sit down, Whiskey? He's like underneath my feet. I had to be careful because I put my feet down and he's like right there. He's always right underneath my feet. Oh, he's like, okay, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm done. All right, so let's go for this. We're going to go ahead and add some splatters in here. So I'm going to take some of this art spray. We're going to try this out. I always say try this out. This is always the fun part. It's like, is this going to... Why did my beads get stuck? All right. Maybe we should get this a test. Let me use my... I'm going to squirt some in my trash can. Ooh. It's like more orange. Oh, wow. Oh my god. I'm like scared. I am the type to make big messes, by the way. Oops. I didn't even squirt it on the painting. Okay, there we go. So if you want those bigger dots, oops. Just like hold it down and don't squirt all the way. And then you get the bigger ones. Oh, those are going everywhere. You know what? I didn't even get my cardboard all the way down. I just, here. That's how we make messes. You know, I can do everything I can to put cardboard down and I'll still make a mess. It don't matter. Okay, so we got a bunch of splatters going on there in red. That's the art spray. But now, let's add some green in there. Actually, that's more of an orange or an orange red. It's red orange. Okay, I'm going to squirt this in my trash can just to get it started. Ooh. This one here is candy apple, or no, it's apple green. Candy apple. Oh, have to be very careful. Okay. I keep on missing my thing. Okay. We don't want to make mud, but we definitely got a very interesting scenery going on here. There is yellow. I don't know what to do with these. Let's go ahead and blow dry this and get it dry so that way we're not making complete mud. Baby, you're back in here. I don't know. I'm hoping this is dry. It's questionable. Some of it is not dry. That's on the masking fluid. A lot of it didn't want to dry so much, so we'll just leave that. Now we do have some red Posca, or what do they use? YONO. You only need one. Let's try these out. So any of these dots here that maybe you want to be a little bit bigger, or maybe you don't really like the way it's shaped, you can always just like kind of fill them in, especially filled in, because some of these dots just look a little bit transparent. So maybe just take them and add a little bit of brightness to them. I don't know if you can actually spot these. Yeah, there's no way you can flick it. Nope. So if you needed any of these done or add a little bit more to it, you can. Because I know that with me, like if you're spotting these and some of them just look a little bit wonky and they don't look right and you're like, oh, that one dot or two dots. Like this one here looks like it turned a little bit more. It had a green dot and a red dot on top of it, and it really kind of looked a little bit brown. Well, you can always go in and add some of this to it just to kind of fix them. I wish they had a green. That would be nice. They gave me a blue. Not for sure if I want the blue. Now, I don't really like this one here. It kind of turned a little bit brown, but I think it's because it's on top of that frisket. or that masking fluid, sorry. So now any of those dots that I did, if you want to let them dry, we can blow dry those. That way they're done, sealed, and no smudging. Now, another thing I would like to do is whenever I have stuff like this and it looks a little bit congested in here, that's fine. Just take some of your white. Let's see here, should I do that with the angle brush? Yeah, that might be better. We'll use this angle brush that they gave us, this 1/2 inch, to do this. Just take a little bit of white. Add some water to it. Make it nice and runny. And it's very easy to make this nice and runny. So this is some really kind of runny paint. It's like you really didn't need to add too much water to it. Let's see if I can do this. Hold on. Oop. I just ended up wearing that. Ah. It's going backwards. There we go. All right. So just to let you guys know, if you're doing this, make sure your angled brush, your point is angled like that, because otherwise it flips back at you. Or it still does. I always make messes. Like, seriously, if I'm not wearing it, then I'm not painting. Let's put a little bit more down. Not used to using these smaller brushes. Usually I got like a harder brush or an older brush and it really works well. Trying it with these brushes that they gave us. So it's definitely I hope that ain't bothering you guys' ears too much. I'm gonna have to add a little bit more water to it. Works a lot better if you have a little bit more water. And I definitely expected a mess, so. Because Because when I work with splatters, I definitely go all out. Definitely want to break up that concentrated area in there. Okay. Go ahead and clean it up. That one's clean. Let's get this angle brush cleaned off. Let's get myself cleaned off. I don't know. My face is probably, it ain't even coming off. It's already dried. This stuff dries quick. It's okay. I bet my face is like polka dotted right now. Who knows? But that is most likely probably the case. So I'm going to go ahead and blow dry this. Once we get this blow dried, we can remove off that masking fluid. So that's the fun part. Then we get to go to working on a bronzed or golden deer. So we should be able to remove the masking fluid, which should reveal our little deer. And I will take out my little eraser here. It's like a rubber eraser that I use. Wait. Down here. Here it is. Oh. I found it. I was looking all over for this brush. I was so tired of using like my hand or blowing off. I found my brush, my eraser brush. Imagine that. Just open up a drawer, Deborah, and you would be able to find it. All right, so let's go ahead and try and remove our masking fluid. Let's get each antler. Just gonna peel that off. Now, some of these antlers, I know it's not going to be perfect. Some of it we may end up having a little bit of an outside edge there, but I think it'll still be okay. I actually put it on really kind of thick, so it's almost able just to peel off. By hand. Oh, his little ear. Go ahead and get some of his little feet started here. All right. That should be all. Feels like it is. So now we got our masking fluid off, and we have our little deer. Gotta go home and meet my guy. We'll watch the rest later, but I'm leaving it play for Cookie for now. Oh, how sweet. Well, okay, have fun. And I bet Cookie will enjoy. Aw. How cute. Where's my puppy dog? Aw. Okay, he's just laying over there being bored on his bed. Aww. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and start on the deer. I know we do have some outside edges here that might need to be cleaned up a little bit. So we should be able to do that. It shouldn't be too hard. All we would just do is just either make it a light blue. We could add a little bit of that green speckle in there just by taking some of the green. If you don't have green, you know, you can always use a different color. Whatever colors that you used on yours. So here I'm going to take a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the white, actually a whole bottle of white, light on the blue. We're just going to kind of clean this up just a little bit. And it's still not going to match, but that's okay because we'll just speckle it with a little bit of the greens. And I'll show you how to do that. So really looks almost, well, there's a little bit in here. This area down below on his feet, there was a whole lot of blue. Like, it wasn't as speckled as that top part, so you don't really notice too much on his feet. Just maybe in some of those areas that, like right here around his leg and his butt, maybe has a little bit right here, and right in here. So it just needs a little bit of cleaning up, but not too bad. Not too bad. That was a fun night. Oh, you too, Barbara. All right, so now that we got that done, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to cheat a little bit. So we're going to use just a little bit of green. Probably wear it. And we'll take some of that green from that art spray and just dab your brush in it. Just kind of make some little dots. Maybe just a little bit in here. Definitely looks a little different, and that's only because the red has not been added in. Well, we're just kind of speckling it in here. Oop, forgot an area in there. Oops. Don't want to forget any. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of this red, or orange red, and I'm just going to dab maybe just a couple little dots in there, not a whole bunch, just to kind of break it up a little bit. I'm just using the corner of the brush too whenever I'm doing this. Just so that way it blends in a little bit with the background, kind of tones that green down just a little bit because our green was toned down because of the red. All right. If you need any more green, you can always add just a couple drops of green in here. And if you need any more white, you could always add some little bit of white from your leftover. Oops. Just don't add that much water. Make sure your brush is dried off. Because that was way too much water. Holy cow. I still got too much on the canvas. Let's just take and soak that up with the towel. Yeah. Somehow I added just too much water to the white. If any of these need to be toned down just a little bit, you can always do that. Because you don't want your edges standing out too much here. Where else? Right in here. It looks a little bit standing out. It's just a really watered down white is what I got. It may even have a little bit of blue mixed in it, but not much. But it's one way to kind of tone this down and make it look more natural. Okay. So that looks about right. Looks like there's no big edges that I see that stand out that look weird, you know? Or look like they don't fit. All right. So I'm happy with that. That should be good. I'm going to go ahead and clean off that brush, and then that way we can start on the lovely deer. We also have this, oh, I forgot about this. We also have the Posca. Let's try this. Hold on. Before we start on the deer. Everybody's like, no, let's start on the deer. I got some white here. We can add some dots, maybe in on some of these areas that I just put in. Maybe even around his little ear, down there. Oh, you can even make them bigger. Isn't that cool? So if you want some bigger dots, just use your Posca. Surely I didn't make it run out. Oops. Wow. Who knew? You can shake it and it comes out. All right. I think we added enough of the big drops in there. Those are really kind of cool. Where did that other one go? Right there. I really didn't need that one there. And then We already did the YONO, and we used those just to kind of put in here. I wonder if we could do the same thing and make some big drops. Doesn't seem like it does. We can make some bigger ones. There we go. So if you wanted to make some bigger red ones, you could do that. Okay, well, okay. And then they also gave us these. We haven't tried these yet. And these are the System 3 Fluid Acrylics, and we got the phthalo green and the yellow. These are fluids, so I don't know. Where are we going to add these? But I like to use everything. Ooh, look at that. It's got like a little drizzle like nozzle, and it's like coming out. Okay, so you can add lines. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Let's see what we can do here. We can add some drizzles. Like maybe some confetti. Maybe add some dots in there. So the more you work with it, the more you add to it, you're definitely going to come up with some interesting stuff. So now we got some confetti. And I bet you can add water to it if you want to make it a little bit more runnier, a little bit more looser. You could do that also. So I'm just having fun with this right now. Let's put one in here. Ooh. It's like you won a grand prize. Let's put one in here. There, where it disappears behind the deer. So that's pretty cool. So you got a small little nozzle where you can drizzle it in there, and I'm pretty sure if you add water to it, it'll just go psh, everywhere. But I just don't want to do that to this painting because we already worked with it. But this is pretty cool because this is fluid, so you add water to it, it should be a lot thinner. I don't know. It shows you can put it on all kinds of stuff. Light fast. Clothing, canvas, paper. Actually, some of the areas where I had a little bit wet in some of these areas, it looks like it's kind of spacing out a little bit too. I want to get this bubble out. I don't really like the bubble. Bubble could go away. All right, so we got that done. I really want to dry it just in case. I don't think I'm going to touch it though. We'll leave it. I'll just make sure that this one here is the closest one we got, trying to stay away from it. So let's go ahead and move on to our deer. Maybe we can get him done. But we definitely used everything that they gave us so far except for the paints. Well, we actually used the paints. We used it on the background, the blue and the white. I'm going to turn around this. And I really don't want these bristles getting into my paint. These are all the loose bristles that was shedding like crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and put these down. We're going to use, like I said, burnt umber. We're going to use cadmium yellow hue. We're going to use yellow ochre. We're going to use black. Probably didn't need that much black, but it'd be okay. We're going to use white. And we are going to use possibly some red we can throw in there. We'll just put it over here. Probably won't need that much, but okay. All right, so now that we got that done, let's go ahead and get in here and start to work it. Now I'm really afraid to actually wet this because it is super runny. So I don't really want to add too much. But let's go ahead and get some of our darker areas done. So let's go ahead and get our burnt umber. I'm going to take and bring that over here. Take some of our black, add it in there. And this is where I'm going to stick a little bit of red. Just kind of warm it up a little bit. Makes it a really dark brown. I don't know. I may just spritz it just a tad. As long as I don't spray my canvas over here. I really wish that I had a smaller brush, especially working on an 8x10 canvas. It would be nice, but it's okay. We will just make it a loose kind of painting instead of so detail orientated. I mean, we could probably, let me see if I can't use the other brush. This one just is so thick. It's the challenge. Trying to use the right size brush for what I need. Let's see if we can't try the angle tip on this to try and get our smaller areas in here. It's definitely still really hard to do. Definitely a challenge. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The only thing that I'm not happy about. So want to change it over to a different, it's just a size brush. It's not that the brush itself is a bad brush. I have the same type of brushes, but in different sizes that they gave me on like previous boxes. I just wish I had more of a smaller brush, but they always give out smaller brushes, so I guess, you know, changing it up and giving you some bigger brushes is always nice too. Right, let's go ahead and add some dark shadow to this. Like I said, this is not going to be like a perfect painting. Okay, so we got that darker area, and since I don't have a really fine detailed brush, I am just going to do the best with what I've got here. There's actually a gap. Hold on. Between his antlers here that I just now noticed. Let's put that in. Let's do the light blue. I'm trying to do this before it dries. Just want it to look somewhat similar to the color of the background in there. Looks close, and if after it dries I can always add little white speckles and make it look a little bit better. Okay, let's continue on with creating some more dark shadows. Let's do going up his neck. And that actually curves all the way down his back side of his leg with the dark. I really like to go a whole lot darker, so I'm going to take a little bit more of that black, just kind of pull it in there. Take more of the really dark black here, the Mars black, and I just want to draw, or basically have a line going from there I think it goes to right about here. And we can make that a darker brown. Okay, let's go ahead and add our darker brown here. It looks like it follows this side of his leg all the way down. I'm going to go from here I'm going to follow it down on this side. Also looks like there's still kind of a brown line that follows up the back of his leg, so I'm going to go with it. Okay. I'm going to give this a spritz just to make sure it's not drying out completely on me. I'm at a dark line in there. And then also a dark brown. Looks like that goes all the way up his neck. So right in here. Goes right along the bottom of his chin. Very thin line. It goes a little bit thicker toward the bottom. Let's just go ahead and follow it. all the way down. Okay, and then we had this area here, so that should be fine. Let's go ahead and do another area. I'm gonna have to spray it again, that way it doesn't dry out on me. And we're gonna make another dark line, much thinner one. Kind of round it. Okay, that looks about right. Now we're going to make some of this golder or gold type of look. So I'm going to use a little bit of my yellow ochre here. I think it's a yellow ochre, yeah. Maybe a little bit of white. That makes it more of a lighter gold, but we want to be a little bit darker. Let's put some of the brown in here, this burnt umber. Mix it in. That should tone it back just a little bit. Looks about right, but I think a little bit more of the brown ochre. A little bit more of the white. A little more white. That looks about right. I mean, it's pretty close. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go over pretty much everything else, and then we're gonna do the highlight at the very last. So let's just go ahead and get this done. This is basically our base color right here. And we can look at it too and notice that, hey, maybe we need to add a little bit more of the yellow ochre back in. Looks pretty good. It's more of a darker kind of gold. And we're going to do the same thing up here. Just kind of get this same color. Not going to change colors yet. But we are going to do it to these back ones. These back horns that are kind of showing. These back antlers. Let's go ahead and get it right in here also. This looks a little bit of a darker gold. I wouldn't worry too much if you get a little bit out of line here, especially if you're working with this brush here and you're working on a smaller piece than what you're, you know, used to doing here. That should be definitely a challenge, I'll say that. Because if you're working with such a small detailed piece, I may have to clean that edge up just a little bit around the horn too. Looks like I missed it. And I don't know if I can catch my paint. Maybe. Get that little edge cleaned up. Doesn't look too bad. Let's make this a little bit more shadowy. Adding a little bit more of the burnt umber in there. Just make that a little bit more darker. So some of these areas you may need to make a little bit darker just because still got a little bit of a shadow kind of going on in there. Or it's got these reflections. I'm gonna add some in his ear. And we're going to take and make this line here maybe a little bit thicker. And see it dry so stinking quick. So you have to be very careful. If I can't add any of, let's add a little bit of the yellow in there. Let's add some white. Yellow ochre. It's going to make it a little bit more of a brighter gold. Give that a nice little spritz, that way it doesn't dry. I really like this color. It is really pretty. And if you ever need to go back in and add any browns or more burnt umbers, like more of the brown colors or the darker tones, you can easily do that, especially with the lighter tones. It's easy to go back and add in your darker tones. It's easy to put in a highlight too, so. Let's try and get this here around the hoof. And we'll definitely have to use this color whenever we get up there at the antlers again. Okay, let's add a little bit of white. And I didn't wipe my brush off or anything. Just gonna go through here and add a little bit of a highlight. I may have went into the dark area a little bit, so I need to clean that up. I'll just take a wet, damp brush, and it shouldn't be that damp. My goodness. Got a little bit too much in there, but we added a little bit of highlight, just a little bit, just to tell us, hey, this is where a highlight goes. If you need to go back over it again, you can. Go ahead and get these ears filled in. That way everything's got a base layer. Everything's got a base coat, like it's completely covered. Go ahead and get this last back leg before we can do the antlers. How are we doing on time? Oh gosh, we're doing real good on time. Usually, whenever I do my live streams, they could be run about 2-hour live stream, but for doing a whole painting, this is actually done really good. Good time. So we can't keep this nice and thin. Trying to get this little antler covered up here. Okay, let's go ahead and get, and see it's already starting to dry out. So I'd add some water to it. Okay. And if we want to go back through and add any more, let's see if we can't add a touch of that in there. So our little deer is coming along. He's now filled in, but now we need to go back over it. I would definitely, there's a lot of areas, here's this Mars Black, where I tell you what, this stuff is either really, really wet or really, really dry. It's like not a happy medium here. So I'm going to stick some of this darker area back in. Now I'm just sticking this darker black or this black in some of the areas that are really dark. Let me see here. We got some on his back. Kind of doing a we got some in here. Definitely this needs to be darker, and then some of this needs to be darker too. Come back through, and we're just going to make that a little bit darker. Cleaning up some of these lines, any lines that you need to clean up a little bit. Got a split. This here needs to go all the way up with the dark, so I don't know why I didn't do it before. And then right here on the head, let's just take and draw a little line. Here we go. I like making these little dots and textures in here too. So I'm going to go ahead and take some burnt umber, and I'm just going to make some little textures, maybe just like making a little bit of a shadow kind of coming down right in there. Let's see how far it looks like it comes down, but then it goes into an actual darker line. Make a little bit of a line coming up through here. Goes through there. Okay. Probably still need more of the brown. A little bit of ochre mixed in and a touch of white. This may give me a little bit of a different color here. I want to make some of this definitely, I want to have different colors. So you don't want to have just one completely solid color. You will definitely want to add multiple colors in there. Just kind of mix them up, add some shadows in here. It definitely helps out when making things shiny and reflective, even if it's not the exact color that they have or that the reference photo has. You at least want to make it have multiple colors in here. That just adds to the reflectiveness. Add a little bit underneath his chin, right in here, just a little bit darker. I'm gonna grab some more. If it looks like it needs to be a little bit darker, we can always go back in, add some more burnt umber, tone this down a little bit more. Maybe right in here also. Have to be careful because there is going to be a highlight in here. I don't know, it doesn't mix as well as, wow, I know I dried that brush off. It's crazy on how it's like you add water to it and it really gets runny. I mean, it's like crazy runny. But yet it dries really, really quick. So even though I'm used to doing tutorials, so it's like in nature in me to tell you guys how I'm doing this. But as far as the product goes, it is really, really nice, but it is so different. I don't know if it would be something that you would have to try and get used to doing, or using. But the dry time is really quick. It's really, really runny. But the more if you try and spray it with water to make sure it doesn't dry real quick, it gets really, really runny way too runny real quick. So it is definitely a weird one. It's definitely a different type of paint. I don't know if I should call it weird. That wasn't very nice of me. I mean, it's just different. Weird to me is something that's a little different and not what I'm used to. I'm guessing that if you just work with it a little bit more, or if you use this all the time, then you get used to it. I am very interesting to paint with. Let's add that highlight in there. Go up here, we're going to add a little highlight to that. Light in there. I mean, these did not necessarily have a really bright highlight in the horns, but I'm adding them in anyway. Yeah, kind of botched up that one a little bit. I know, either it's the brush or I seriously, the water, I mean, it is, it's a little annoying here with the water amount. Like it's crazy. And everything's dry. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So you definitely have to watch it if you're using these, because they dry really quickly, and when you go to add water to them, it's like almost like insane how much water, it just makes it look so diluted, like it's way too much water. And I know I'm not putting like a whole bunch of water on it. It's the same amount that I would do with my Liquitex Basics, you know, whenever I paint. Let's try and wipe this brush all the way up here. And see, it's already drying. So you have to be super careful with it. Trying to add his little mouth here. And a highlight, and then a highlight here. Little neck. If you don't really like how big the highlight is, or if you want to make changes, you can always just kind of pull some of that back in here. Like tone some of that highlight down. Now he did have a little bit of a highlight around his ear, and I like to add that in. But I'm gonna have to add, you actually could, I wonder if you could just use your Posca. Yep, we're gonna do that. Ooh, look at that highlight. And there's how you can add some fine details. Just take out your Posca. Because you don't have a really thin brush, use your Posca. Okay, and we'll just come down like that. Let's add some more highlight in here just to make sure I got it. So much better now. And some little dots. I'm going to draw some straight lines in here. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. We'll add some dots. And then a straight line. Dot, dot, dot. Maybe around the hooves, little dots. Dot, dot, dot. Let's add a little bit of highlight. So I'm just making some little dots, some little textures is all I'm doing. Drawing that straight line and then dot, dot, dot. Add some in there. Straight line, dot, dot, dot. Let's add some dots. Let's do 1, let's do 2. Straight line. Could always make it a little thicker here of a highlight. Okay, I think that might be pretty close to being it. Let's see here. So that's a really cute deer. Do I have any other colors? Ooh. Let's just go ahead and try out these YONOs. I didn't use the blue one yet. I'm gonna put some blue on my deer. Just a couple little dots here and there in the darker areas. I think you need some dots. So anywhere where there's some darker areas, I'm going to add some little blue dots. Maybe a couple little lines. Dot, dot, dot. Line, dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot on top. Dot, dot, dot. Maybe a line. Dot, dot, dot. Let's add a line. Some of these darker areas. Add a little line. So that way my deer's got some blue. All right. So I really like that. So now we added blue. And I think that's pretty much it. We do have yellow here, but I don't know if I want to use this. I think he's really good. And I don't really see any areas that I can use yellow in. So yeah, I mean, this here is really cool. I know we did have a little bit of a water, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let's see if I can lift this up. We got a little bit of a water kind of situation like right there on that one. So either A, I can fix it by, let's see here, if I just add a little bit more to it, just to kind of make it a little bit of a line. Or we could put a couple little red dots in the way. So let's kind of do that. Try to make a different line out of it. And then let's take the Posca and add some little Posca marks. Let me take some white. I don't know. It's kind of like a little bit weird in that top corner right there. But other than that, it looks pretty good. And I really do like how we added some blue. Looks like we're a little bit early on our stuff here, but if you can see it, I really like that blue. The blue looks really good. Like it just adds a little kind of something to it. So I don't know. I mean, it's totally up to you guys on what you do. I like the way mine looks. It looks really kind of subtle. If you're wanting to make it a little bit, looks like, oh, I do notice that if you add Posca and you push down on it and it makes those little, like we were making the bigger droplets, which was kind of cool. I just now noticed that there's some cracking going on when it dries. Or not there, but there, all of that made cracking. So, Posca markers crack. That's interesting. But other than that, it was definitely a lot of fun. This is just my final review. Definitely a lot of fun using all of these things. I really did enjoy them. The only thing I say is that with the System 3, you have to just work really quick. I mean, it did say that this is very good for working quicker to get your painting done because it dries so quickly, which is absolutely correct. It does dry really quickly, but then whenever you add water to it and you use it, it seems okay. Add water again, and it's like it instantly starts turning into a puddle. So I would just say as long as you work quickly, and if you are an artist who does work quickly, these are really nice, and it's really a little bit more, I don't know, it doesn't feel as thick as my Liquitex Basics. I don't know. It just seems more runnier, like you don't really have to add too much water to it at all to get it to go. But I mean, they're really nice, and whenever it dries, it doesn't have that shine, so that's a good thing. It actually dries matte. So I know a lot of you may be asking, okay, does it dry and have a shiny surface to it? And no, it dries matte, which is really cool. I can't wait till this dries. I actually want to varnish this because I think that would look really cool varnished. It is just so cute. I don't know. I just kind of like it. It has that, it's kind of like got an aged look to it. So I definitely love it. It's definitely a lot of fun. And as far as the fluids go, these here are really kind of cool. Let me see if we can do something real quick. Let's do another test. Let's do a little drizzle here. And I bet you, because that was already wanting to spread, and just because it got a little bit of water on it, but let's add some water to it. Really? Let's add a little bit of water, like a big water droplet to it. It probably works better on a canvas. Yeah. If you add water to this, this would spread. I just know it will. Won't do it on your paint palette though, but definitely seen it on my canvas how it spread really, really easily. So the Fluid 3 acrylics, really, really fun. I really like that they have that small little tube so you can actually draw, or you can probably sign your name or do something, but that would be a little bit too thick. But it's really neat. And of course the art sprays. I love the art sprays. And they're totally a lot of fun to work with. They give you a really good background, and it just depends on how you squirt it. Don't squirt all the way down, just squirt just a little bit, like push on the trigger just enough to it shoots out bigger droplets. If you're wanting the finer mist, make sure you're far away. Like, do it a lot more further away than what I did, and you'll have those light little speckles in there. So definitely work with it. You may want to try it out on a separate piece of paper, just so that way you can get a hang of it before you actually go and do it on your artwork that you're wanting to actually work on. And okay, no. Okay, my kitten is, where is it, baby? Don't let her have any masking fluid. No, you can't have masking fluid. She took it out of my trash can. Oh, Lola. This is Lola, and she's a little kitten, and she is hyper. Okay, well. She's looking for it. She got upset that I threw away that masking fluid. It was like a little gumball, and she had it in her mouth. She was like, ooh, I want to play with that. So definitely going to be emptying out the trash here soon, so that way she doesn't find it again. But other than that, this is an amazing box. And I really did enjoy painting this picture. I mean, I didn't really get frustrated except for the water situation where it was a little bit too much water, or the paintbrush that was using and is still losing a lot of its bristles. But maybe after using it a few times, maybe it might stop. I'm not for sure. So we'll just see how that is. But other than that, I give this Paletteful pack box an A++. It has definitely been a lot of fun working with this box. I got a really cute Christmas, kind of an aged Christmas piece, which I absolutely love, my little reindeer. So he will be varnished, he will be shiny and looking absolutely amazing, and I will stick him up for Christmas. So definitely going to be hanging him on my wall. I just love the way it looks. So anyways, if you guys could give me a like, that would be amazing. And leave a comment if you have any questions. If maybe I missed something, or maybe you got a question on something that maybe you didn't feel like you got, maybe something I did, you just didn't feel like it was answered something for you. Just let me know. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I guess until next time, bye you guys. Oh, and I also want to say to Cookie, if you're watching, bye. I hope you have fun, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So until next time, bye you guys.